Hey guys, welcome to the Expanded Woman podcast. Today I'm going to be deconstructing my massive jump on Instagram, how I went from 800 followers to 8,000 followers in more than a month, and grew my Instagram up to I think it was like almost 12,000 followers in that short amount of time. Now I have less because I've totally changed the way that I show up on social media, but more on that later. I'm just going to kind of tell you guys how I got there and what I did to get there and a little bit of my journey along the way. So I started my Instagram journey in December of 2023, and this was before I started my somatic training or did my Reiki training, and I didn't even really know exactly what my business was going to look like. I was teaching yoga at the time, and I thought maybe that my Instagram was going to be like a yoga page, and how much I've changed and kind of discovered my direction in the last year is so amazing and crazy. I'm so proud of myself for how far I've come. And so I just wanted to kind of give you guys a breakdown of like where I started and where I'm at right now, because I know that maybe it'll be inspiring for the right people that are going to hear this. So back when I started my page, I had absolutely zero experience on social media. I didn't even barely know how to make a reel. At the time, I wasn't really using social media a whole lot. I didn't really use it for my personal life very much. I maybe posted like 3 or 4 times a year on my personal social media. So posting on I made a business page and I started posting on there, and it felt very sloppy jalopy to me in the beginning, but I just kind of didn't let that bother me. I just knew that I had to just start doing it and that I was going to get better over time. And so, yeah, I didn't really know exactly where I was going. I just started posting and I just started sharing, and I started getting out of my shell and stepping through my fear of putting myself out there and being seen. And along the way, I'll go through many layers of allowing myself to be seen. But to me, just to start it out, it was scary to just be posting myself and my thoughts on the internet, especially for strangers to see. And so my social media has evolved a lot over the last year. And it still evolves a lot. And that's okay, because we're humans and we should totally allow ourselves to pivot as we need to and not stay in a place because we think that people are expecting something from us, that, we need to honor ourselves. And if people don't like that, then they can go. That's fine. So anyways, I took my somatic and my Reiki training, and so I did a lot of, I started getting comfortable with posting like reels, short reels and stuff, and I knew that I had a friend that had told me, a couple of tips, and so I knew that my catchphrase had to be enticing. Like, I knew that I wanted people to touch my posts, and I knew that I had to get people to click that see more button on the caption if I wanted more engagement and more views and more action on my posts. So I got pretty decent at that, and my social media was pretty decent, but I didn't have any sort of strategy at all. I was just kind of like coming up with ideas and posting them, and whatever I could come up with on my own. And it was doing okay. I was experiencing some growth, but and at the time I didn't really have any offerings, I guess, per se, but I was just kind of growing my audience. Anyways, I think it was like March when I purchased a marketing course, and I love the woman who ran the marketing course. She's such a cool person, and I think she's super authentic, but In hindsight, I don't think that the course itself really helped helped me be the most authentic version of me. And maybe that's just my personal experience. But anyways, I got really good at creating content and scheduling and, writing captivating hooks. And I had this like schedule set up so that I pre-wrote all my content, and I had like maybe 2 or 3 things that I would even post about every single day. So I was posting a lot. I was pumping out a lot of content, like 2 to 3 reels a day. And I was sharing in my stories as much as I could. And I was getting like nothing, like no new followers, absolutely nothing. From like when I first started my page, I got like an influx of followers. There were a lot of like yoga people and stuff. And then after that, it was like nothing. I was at like 800 and like the 800 mark for so fucking long. It felt like I was working so hard, and it felt like almost for nothing. But for some reason, I was so dedicated to this, and I've never been so dedicated to anything in my entire life. But I was dedicated to this, and I just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. Along the way, I kept kind of a lot of the content that I was posting was like B-roll type content. If you know anything about marketing, it's like, yes, I mean, like all my captions and the stuff I was sharing was from me and it was authentic, but I wasn't sharing my voice. And like B-roll content to me, I find can be quite generic in a sense. Like it's kind of cookie cutter, and I think that it can be fun to play with sometimes, but I don't think that it should be all you post, because you're not really sharing your voice and people don't really get to see your energy very much. I think that it needs to be an ecosystem. But anyways, more on that later. So anyways, I'm posting 2 to 3 posts a day, B-roll content, and in August, my Instagram blew up, and I was getting like I was getting like over 100, sometimes 200 new followers a day. And I was like, oh, finally, all my hard work paid off. It was one post that I made pretty much. I think one post got me like, in the end, like 10,000 new followers. And I was like, yes, I fucking made it. And it did feel really fucking good it felt like all my hard work was paid off. And people were like, so many people were messaging me and like calling me in real life and being like, oh my God, your Instagram is blowing up. And I even had friends that were like watching me and like celebrating when I would get to a new a level, like if I was at 10,000 and I got to 11,000, they'd be like, oh my God, you just got to 11,000, like good for you. And it was fun. Like honestly, it was fun. It was a rush. And it felt good, and more people, were like saving and sharing my posts and commenting on them and engaging with them, and it felt fucking good. It was like, yay, this is what all the hard work was for. And, in another episode, I talk about how I had some people approach me after kind of, seeing my presence on social media. Oh, and I kind of forgot to add, so this was actually a crucial part of the story that I had missed. So before I blew up, it was when I finally started posting more videos of me talking. I finally came out of my shell and started posting in my stories and reels of just me talking and sharing what was on my heart instead of only posting B-roll content. And I feel like, to me, that was the shift that happened. Even though the post that I got like 10,000 new followers on was a B-roll post, B-roll reel, I feel like that was the shift in energy of me, the way that I was showing up, and kind of, it was like the next step that I had to take was getting comfortable talking to the camera and coming out of my shell and sharing my voice, my actual voice. And that was when my Instagram blew up. And I do believe that I unlocked a new level for myself and my ability to be seen. And that's why my Instagram blew up. And yeah, so anyways, back to where I was. So I got all this engagement and people offering me opportunities and all that stuff. But what it didn't change is I didn't make, in that moment, I didn't really make any more money from my Instagram blowing up like I thought I would. I thought in the past that there was probably a certain percentage of my followers that would buy from me, and if I could grow that following, that more people would buy from me. And while this might be true, I think what's so much more important than the actual growth is actually learning how to nurture your audience. And I think that when I started, I was doing this in the complete wrong way. It felt like what I was doing was giving away as much free advice and content as I could. And now looking back, I'm realizing that I was trying to prove myself and I didn't think that I was worthy. And so I was trying to prove that I was worthy by giving away as much free content as I could. And this didn't in turn bring me new clients. Why would you pay for the milk when you can get it for free? Right? And I had an I do Akashic records readings, and I did a swap with one of my friends because sometimes I think that we can be too close to a situation and we need somebody else's perspective to kind of validate where we are. And so anyways, we did this swap, and I had asked, like, where am I hiding? Because I think that we hide a lot in our businesses. But I said, where am I hiding in my business that is affecting my ability to bring in more financial growth? And the answer that I received was that you're actually not hiding anywhere. In fact, it's the opposite. You're sharing too much. And that just like blew me open. I was like, oh my God, I am. I'm literally giving everything away for free. Like, great, amazing. I love sharing free things, but I had no boundaries. And for that reason, I felt like I was becoming like a little bit bitter with my situation. I was like, I'm giving all this, putting all this energy out, and it feels like I'm not getting anything back. And so when I heard that, it really like landed on my body, and I was like, oh my God, this feels true. It felt so true to me. And I was like, I need to rethink the way I do my content. And from that moment on, I totally shifted how I do my content. I kind of like, I didn't throw away all my training because I think that it was so important, and I needed all that knowledge to get to where I am today. And of course I teach marketing, and I think it's so important to like have all the education and then to choose what resonates most with you. But oftentimes at the beginning, there's a lot of resistance because we're not comfortable with things. And I think that we have to get past that resistance to actually see what feels good and what doesn't, if that makes sense. And so anyways, I started showing up totally fucking different on Instagram. It was like, now I don't fucking post if I don't feel like it. And I don't write content. I don't mass produce or batch content in the same way I used to. Like now, this is how I do my content. If something pops into my head, some little hit of inspiration or a download or whatever comes to me randomly throughout the day or the week, I put it in my notes app. Or sometimes I just actually create the space and I sit down, I turn on some music, and I open the Akashic Records and I connect with my guides. and I'll just sit and write what comes up, and again, I'll put it in my notes app, or I'll keep it in my notepad and I'll put a star next to it. And then when I feel like I want to share it with the world, whether that's through like carousel posts or a video of me talking, then I kind of like mass batch in that way. Like I'll have all these things kind of saved up, and when I'm feeling like I want to share it, I'll just like record a whole bunch of videos or make a whole bunch of carousel posts in my notes again, and then like kind of split it up over a few days so that people aren't like bombarded by all of this like potent shit. And I can't even tell you like how much better this feels for me in my system. I felt like when I was forcing myself to post every single day, and well, I think being semi-consistent is great. It's always good to show up like consistently. Honoring your body is truly the most important thing you can do, because if you don't honor your body, you will get burnt out. Your content will start to be watered down because you'll just be posting because you feel like you have to. And there's still even times where I feel like, oh my God, like, I haven't posted in a while, I need to post something, and then I'll post it and I'm like, that post was dog shit because I didn't post it for the right reasons. And I think that the intention behind a post is also so potent and so important. What is the energy and the intention behind the post that you are putting out there? Is it to connect? Is it to make sales? Is it to share what's on your heart? Because all of that is important, right? It's like, again, it's an ecosystem. We do have to find that balance. And something that I've kind of figured out along the way too is like when I took my marketing course, that we were supposed to make 3 different types of content. One was nurture, one was growth, and one was sales. And now I've kind of discovered that I love kind of making these carousel posts where I kind of tell a story. And I think that we can have nurture, growth, and sales all in one post. Like I can make a post that is nurturing my audience and giving them beautiful food for thought and inspiration, and invite them to explore deeper with me if they choose to, and they can take what resonates and leave the rest. So in a sense, I feel like fuck mainstream marketing, fuck the rules, do what feels good for you, get the education, learn everything, and then choose what feels best for you. And I think that the education is important. So I do think that, like that mainstream marketing, like a lot of it does have its value, but we have to make sure that we're not getting stuck in being mass producers and being generic, and we have to find our authentic twists, and that can sometimes take some time and take some playing around, and that's fine. It gets to be fun. It gets to be so much fun. Now, like, when I sit down to make my posts, I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. I love it. I have so much fun doing it. It's like this creative expression of me. And like I've said, like I'm exploring more of like how I can show up authentically and be open and honest with all of you guys in a way that feels good for me, because I do see a lot of people sharing so much online, and I feel like sometimes that's not the space for it. And to me, and I could be wrong, like I could get some like, I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll get some people in my DMs being like, oh my God, I hate your podcast. And I could be wrong, but I almost feel more comfortable sharing deeper truths with you guys in my podcast, because I know that if you're on my podcast, you're probably here because you trust me and you're here with me on my journey. And Instagram, to me, it just feels like this like big wide open sea of like anyone can see anything. And while I'm not hiding anything, I don't think that we have to unnecessarily like bare our souls to the universe and the entire world, in the process of trying to be authentic, and just get like ripped to shreds by strangers online. Like, yes, it's gonna happen. Yes, like I've gotten the odd comment here or there that like doesn't feel super amazing. It's like not really friendly, but I think that our peace is like so important and our safety is so important that we have to decide what feels good for us to share and what doesn't. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with not wanting to share everything on social media and having that little bit of privacy and just protecting your peace, right? That's the most important thing, I think, is protecting your peace, finding a way to share that feels good for you. So anyways, that's kind of my marketing story. I have a friend that I teach marketing with, and we have a program called the Business Expansion and Activation Program, and we are about 3 weeks into our first cohort right now. I teach the marketing side, and she teaches the like energetics of the business side. Her name is Erin. Her business is Rose Quartz Mediumship, and I'll drop her info in the show notes below, and a link to the landing page if that's something that interests you. Right now, what I'm teaching is all of the stuff that I've learned along the way, and it's probably going to shift and evolve and change as I grow and as my marketing in my own business changes. But for now, yeah, this is an amazing space where we are learning how to run a successful business. Erin has been running her business, I can't remember for how many years. I want to say like 6 or something. She's a super successful businesswoman. I like truly look up to her. She'll probably be a guest speaker on my podcast one of these days. But if you are interested in learning more marketing from the standpoint of a soulpreneur, a spiritual entrepreneur, we would love to have you in our next cohort. I'm not exactly sure what the dates will be. We finished this one that we're doing right now at just before Christmas. So our next one will probably be in the spring or something like that. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a DM. I'll keep you posted. And yeah, that's all for today. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you made it to the end of this episode, and I'm so excited to connect with you. If this episode resonated with you, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I would love to hear from you. Have an amazing day.